We are into Champ Select for Game 1, Sam Houston versus USF White. It's interesting to see what the first bans are going to be in this game, what both these teams are going to prioritize.
Okay, and right off the bat, we are seeing that the Ari is clearly still a pick teams are afraid of. So they heard my advice. They are not going to just disregard the champion entirely because of the small nerf.
For sure. Well, and Ari also going to be a takeaway there from Sam Houston's style. And, you know, another player that we've seen having a lot of success on this is Bjergsen, as he smashed in his matchup today. And I think that highlighted actually the strength of that champion. Even, you know, and it's a little bit of a different state because obviously the state of that champion is a little bit stronger on the previous patch because I think it's 15B, whereas we're on the newer patch. But I think still fun to see that champion get played, and not too much of a difference on that stage versus the one we're seeing. Is, again, just as a reminder, folks, that first ban is a non-ban because of the penalty that USF has sustained, so they will unfortunately have to continue to forfeit one ban for the remainder of the matches. Nautilus, the second ban away there from Sam Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. This is two champions back-to-back that provide an immense amount of mid-game pick potential. They both have a very, very easy engage button, Nautilus Q being one of the biggest memes in League of Legends. And that Janna ban is an interesting response as we start to see SHSU focus on banning away champions with pick potential.
Yeah, I do wonder if it is part of USF just trying to take away some of the safety from Melancholy in that bot lane, because that is one of the things that we highlighted is if you can get a successful, 1v1 for USF in that top lane, if you can punish iLucky, then that does open up opportunities for you to make your way in that bot lane. And I think maybe they're trying to look to deny some of the safeties that we're not going to be the takeaway there from Sam Houston.
Yeah, Renata is actually a champion that I find incredibly interesting. At the lower levels of play, we frequently see things like Aerie come out from Renata, but I think that Aerie rune set and the more caster-focused build doesn't necessarily play to her strengths. She's not a dominant laner. She's built to team fight, and so I prefer to see the Guardian into Locket build for Renata. Stop trying to make up for lane deficiencies. That
you're on the freak train on the Locket build.
Yes, I do agree. Just because I think that build favors what the champion wants to do. She is a caster, right? But she's not a lane-focused caster. She's a team-fighting caster. And so the tankiness of the Renata in team fights is much more valuable, as we do see Leona as the priority first pick here for SHSU.
Absolutely. So Sam Houston grabbing themselves a form of engage and giving themselves a way to get fight started off pretty reliable. And I think that's a good pick too, given kind of what's banned. Like, you've sort of isolated a matchup where you can get Leona in a vacuum, so you've kind of gotten rid of one of our biggest counter in that Nautilus. Obviously, there are a number of Chanters that are good. There is the Kindred going to come out. Okay, this is a champion we do not see a lot of, is the Shyvana. Okay, this draft is spicy. Break it down for us, Kramer.
All right, so we talked a lot in the pre-draft or in the pre-stream meeting about double marksman comps, and we focused on things like seeing Kai'Sa mid, seeing Lucian go into the top lane, the more marksman poke style Jace builds. We did not talk about Kindred in the jungle. That into the Leona, Shyvana, and potentially a Shen coming through here. Oh, even better, an Echo. This is a go comp from SHSU, and Kindred loves to play into go comps. The Kindred ultimate just completely denying your ability to blow somebody up with the Shyvana in late game team fights is incredible. And if they pair it with Taric, which I don't think they will, I think the Alistar is a much more reasonable pick than the Leona. The drafts here already have very clashing, conflicting styles, and I like it. Oh, and we also get what we talked about in our prep meeting.
That
with
split lane bot. Absolutely. Go ahead.
That SHSU just dumps two support bans right here. Take away priority laning picks from this Jinx.
Absolutely. Well, on a little bit of insider information, I heard a rumor that this Echo might be locked in. I didn't want to believe it, but this is a champion that Sam Houston style absolutely believes in. He believes that this is a champion that can absolutely take over a match. And I'm interested to see how the Kindred is going to survive, because we did talk about the ability for laners to get out of their lane and go affect the jungle. And Kindred is a jungler that absolutely hates getting invaded because she does have so much reliability on getting those stacks.
Absolutely, she does. And we're seeing an interesting approach here from SHSU, banning away Vex. I'm not sure if they are afraid that of a Vex support pick, because we see a Victor, right? So I don't understand the decision to ban away a mid laner. I do like the Zeri and Ezreal bans though, and taking away those strong pairings with Leona for USF White.
So that leaves pretty much just, if you're looking at the list of traditional ADCs that might go with her, you're looking at maybe possibly a Lucian, though I don't know how great it would be into the Jinx. Might be looking at a Caitlyn, which is also left up. Could also be looking for something like an Ashe or a Varus to round that out. I think Ashe probably the most likely out of all those picks, just giving him some additional CC and some good damage into the late game.
Yeah, I think I like Ashe and Jhin as pairings here into what USF has offered us. I really don't understand either the Vex or the Kiana ban. We banned a jungler and mid laner, well, a jungle mid flex and a mid laner after the Victor showing. I'm assuming this is Gragas top as well, which denies a counter pick away actually, because Gragas is a hard Kindred counter. So I do like that selection. There's the Ashe we talked about. So a lot of pick and engage potential here for SHSU. Are we going to get the Jace in the top lane?
We talked about it in the draft, and we are. The Melancholy is going to lock that in for iLucky. Is the Tom Kinch going to be the response? Okay, so they went with the Tom Kinch flex. That's a double flex. So the Gragas and the Tom Kinch could be moved around quite a bit in here. My gut feeling is that it is going to be the Tom Kinch going into that bot lane just to provide Tanuki with safety away from the Ashe.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually think this is a fantastic draft out of USF. Their team has a clear team fighting identity and a lot of disengage tools. You've got Explosive Cast, you've got Lamb's Respite, you've got Devour, and those three abilities all help make sure that this Victor and this Jinx are incredibly hard to just one-shot and kill off if you do land the Enchanted Crystal Arrow or the Solar Flare from the SHSU bot lane. SHSU, though, does have lanes that should have priority. Jace just naturally should be able to deal with this Gragas really well. So I expect us to get a pretty volatile top side of the map, and it's going to put a lot of onus on style, in my opinion, to affect the map and try to get the shove into Victor, which is going to be hard to do for Echo and the Victor.
We are on to the rift for Game 1 between Sam Houston State Esports Orange and USF Esports White, as we see both these teams running out onto the rift. Now, I'm curious, given the relatively early strength of this Sam Houston squad, if they're going to try and make something happen, maybe look for an early invade, as they do appear to be setting up 5-man across the river for both of these squads.
Yeah, it looks like on the top side, they might be trying to get a ward out on this Kindred just to help track her. We do have 4 people on the bottom side of the map here for USF. They clearly are looking for the more defensive play right off the bat. I think that just makes sense with their comp, right? That's the mindset they need to be in. Looking at runes, we do have Conqueror for the Jace, so this is not the more poke, lane dominant oriented Jace build. This is going to be an all-in style Jace. Phase Rush out from the Gragas is interesting because that doesn't tell us anything really. This could be an AP or a tank Gragas with the Phase Rush.
Absolutely. Now, what I want to highlight too, and this is interesting because we don't actually see this a lot. I think just percentage-wise on spawn, it's actually not very high. I think only 14 or 15% out of the actual Drakes. I can't remember what the math is entirely. But it is going to be a Mountain Drake start for the first Dragon. So I'm interested to see if any of these if the teams actually want to make an early play around it, because I'm of the opinion that Mountain Drake, especially on a comp that wants to go to the late game and needs some of that early survivability, is a great Drake to have. The only thing really that would be better than that Mountain Drake, I think, is having access to an early Ocean Drake.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dragon priority is always going to be a bigger deal for the team with Shyvana, as she gets free defensive stats. So Mountain Drake, normally you want to be able to try to stack those with Shyvana. Like, that's the ideal condition, right? Because she's getting free defensive stats from her passive if you're getting Drake's period. And so Mountain Drake just helps multiply that. As we do see these junglers going for fairly standard starts, I'd be surprised if we don't see a full clear out of both of them.
Yeah. The most interesting part for that for me is going to be where that first mark spawns in, because it is always on the scuttle. So it's just going to depend on whether or not it spawns on that top side or bot side again, because of the RNG involved with that. And it won't show until the scuttles actually get ready. But it's going to be an opposite start for both these junglers as well. So they're not necessarily going to meet unless Shyvana goes to try and deny the mark away from Dark Cloud.
No, and one thing that's kind of frustrating for Dark Cloud's Gromp actually reset that. They leashed it a little bit too far out of range. So you're going to lose tempo, and that's really potentially going to hurt you in terms of getting to that first mark when it spawns on the crab. As you can see, Dark Cloud's just now finishing off the wolves, while Nemur Sticks has fully finished their 4th camp and is on to their red buff. So about a 30-second tempo priority here for Nemur Sticks already. Yeah,
and we're seeing Dark Cloud just now start up the Raptors, so that means it's going to be tempo in the pocket of Sam Houston for the time being. Again, just starting to see this bot lane getting pushed in ever so slightly, and that's to be expected. Jinx obviously having access to the rocket, going to be able to do AoE damage to those minions. Get a little bit of priority. Most importantly, though, very even matchup in this top lane so far. Just a little bit of trading of CS, but neither of these players willing to get too involved in an early skirmishing. So health bar still fairly healthy there. I'm interested to see if Dark Cloud's going to try and make his way up there and affect this matchup and try and get this Gragas, you know, a little bit ahead. Gragas not normally a champion I think that we normally expect to be tremendously far ahead, as Number 6 is going to get spotted out the ward there, but it is a champion that you can facilitate in terms of the playmaking and something that you can look to roam around the map early if he does get an early shove.
We might get a gank here. I actually don't think there's going to be anything of this, just looking at the wave state. Also worth noting, Dark Cloud did get the unlucky Scuttle Spawn, so that first mark was denied away. We also saw a cheater back mid during that time for Style, which is really, really good, as he's now getting a freeze here in mid lane. So already playing this matchup really, really intelligently on the Echo into Victor, which is a counter pick. Oh, as we do have a trade.
In that mid lane, and it looks like they're going to be able to get out fairly easily, as I was messing with the camera there. My apologies, everybody. And Style right now just trying to shove the wave back out. He's going to jump in, gets the Sidewinder, knocks number below half. So he's going to retreat to the safety of his jungler, but nobody dying in that exchange.
No, the fact that Dark Cloud had just been seen as iLucky came down and did what we talked about in the pregame. iLucky did come down to invade that Kindred mark and try to steal it away, force the smite out from Dark Cloud in order to secure that first mark. But also unfortunate for Dark Cloud, him getting caught there means that the Echo SHSU Style wasn't willing to follow forward and try to run down number 1 Hookson.
Yeah. And just not having access to the jungler proximity too gave Number the safety that he needed to try and go for that play. And obviously did lose out on the Sidewinder combo, got hit with a lot of that Echo damage, so was forced to reset off of there. No teleport though, so he's just going to walk straight back to the lane. His Style just now going to reset himself. So the first resets have come out for the junglers, and the Mountain Drake is up. Now, Sam Houston don't have the push to do this. I'm curious if they want to try and make a play for this. Again, the bot lane's not resetting either.
Yeah, absolutely. We also are going to see the third Kindred mark get denied away, as Memer Sticks happened to be standing on the Raptors when that mark spawned. Little vision going down into the top lane. This early game's been fairly slow so far, which is to be expected. Both of these comps are extremely ult reliant, so I'm not surprised to see so little fighting. What I am surprised to see, though, is the Kindred giving up this much of a tempo advantage to Memer Sticks. Absolutely.
It's already a 12 CS difference there, and I mean, even getting information on Dark Cloud as well. Memer Sticks hitting that Scryer's Bloom there in order to get access to more information where Dark Cloud was sitting, so knows that the Kindred is just now starting through the second respawn of those camps there in that bot side, so knows that he can go and take the Krugs. And Sam Houston, I think, still fairly safe right now. No wards, obviously, that they need to worry about for anybody teleporting to, because those teleport changes are oh so sweet if you're a bot laner. But stacking the wave there, this might just be what they need to go and make a play on this dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. We should also see, looking at some of the CS differences, a little bit of a CS lead opening up in the bottom lane here for USF. Meanwhile, both the solo lanes kind of having a rough go.
Yeah, but this is going to be the drag start there from Sam Houston, exactly like we expected. Is Style's going to catch Dark Cloud here. Now, he's going to have to find his way out of this one. Field's going to come down. Style taking damage right now, does have access to the ult. Melancholy going to land the Q, and now it's a full team fight here. Hook's going to get ignited up, and he's going to be the first to die as the dragon goes out. Style ulties, and it's going to be a kill and a dragon for Sam Houston.
Absolutely. Sam Houston having their lunch and eating it too with that play. I'm not sure if USF just wasn't aware that they had started the dragon.
What a top lane! iLucky gets the flash and the hook on top of him. Hooks wasn't able to flash out of there. Excellent outplay there by the Sam Houston top laner.
Looks like they're having more than their lunch and eating it here. Wow. Just a win all the way across the map. Taking that fight in mid lane when you know that SHSU's on the dragon is gonna have first support roam. And then that all-in top lane, that's the kind of thing we wanted to see from Lucky, right? And you take the Conqueror, so you're not as focused on poke. You want to try to find all-ins onto this Gragas. This is a really, really good early start for SHSU in a comp where they need a good early start.
Absolutely, and this is something that we highlighted too, is Sam Houston having early control around this map, being able to get some of these objectives and use that Echo to its fullest extent, and I think we're already starting to see that, given that Styles now got 1 kill on the board. He's going to get that Dark still, so he's going to be looking to maybe starting to get a Magi's if he can not die. Obviously, that item going to reward you for spectacular play and very, very clean play. But, you know, if you do die, it's a item that becomes infinitely less useful.
Yeah, the gold efficiency on a Medjai's is entirely dependent on your ability to play League of Legends. That actually was the cheater back that Style took at level 3. So a lot of confidence there, which is what you want to see when you're willingly taking Echo into Victor, right? This is a matchup that is Victor favored unless the Echo is just a better player. That's the situation where this goes in Style's favor. And with a 20 CS lead and now a solo kill, or not a solo kill, but a kill over onto the Victor, first blood of all things, he has been able to open up a pretty big lead. Oh, we do have a gank top.
Speaking of kill, Darkcloud looking to get himself on the board. Lucky, no access to that flash, tries to trade back, just not going to happen. As Darkcloud going to get himself on the board with that one. Punishing the lack of the summoner there from Sam Houston top laner. Only has the 1 mark right now, but that kill is going to feel good.
Yeah, that's definitely going to help get this Kindred back into the game. Dark the Cloud has definitely had some unlucky spawns on the Kindred marks, but gets a lucky kill there as iLucky just kind of fails to recognize that that was not his wave to be up on. One of the big things with top lane priority is understanding when the other laner has control of the wave, you need to back off of it. It doesn't matter, you know, if you know where the jungler's at or not. If it's their wave, you cannot risk getting caught because that's coming to you. So not only does iLucky die there, but he also gets that wave crashed into his own turret. And now he doesn't even have a CS lead that he did have prior.
And you see the pings coming down to the top lane, so he's going to have to shove that really to start to get the wave pushed back in his own, because now it does feel like Gragas does have control of that, obviously, as we wait to see how the Sam Houston top lane is going to continue to try and play around there. Kendra not in the area, though, so a little bit of safety right now. But it is something that he's going to have to be cognizant of. You know, he is going to have to assume that is going to be a lane in which they want to play around. His style looking here in the bot lane is Ultimate's going to go wide. Solar Flare going to be flashed out of there for the for the USF ADC there. So Summoner going to be down for a couple of minutes. Does still have access to the cleanse, so, you know, if Sam Houston does want to make another play, they'll have to work around that Summoner, but still good job to get that Summoner off of the Jinx and look to potentially punish it later. Is non-stop action across the Rift right now. Hook trying to get out of this one. Sticks is on top of him, so not going to be able to run anywhere. Style's going to jump in here and just going to donate the kill to Style. The bot lane, we're not done, though. Devour up onto the Tom Kench, as it is going to be the full play there at the bot lane. Can they get anything? No. USF not able to answer. Dark trying to get anything. Melancholy going to jump back in, but jumps to her death. Eshkako going to drop as well. Demented, for whatever reason, jump back in. It's going to be a double kill for the Jinx, and that is not what Sam Houston wanted.
No, that is an interesting choice to follow through on the E for Leona. That was a fight they had successfully disengaged. They'd gotten themselves an advantage in the mid lane fight with their roam timings. So to then choose to take that plate, giving 2 kills over to this Jinx, as well as 3 turret plates. Sure, the turret plates are going to be shared, but that's still going to really cut the advantage that they had gained. That's now 1,000 gold lead for Tanuki over Erishkigal.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be even worse, too, when you consider that now with that gold and with those kills going into the pocket of multiple members there, well, specifically just Tanuki on the Jinx, if they do decide that they want to make a play for a Rift Herald, which was taken by Mimstick, so actually that just eliminates my entire point. Never mind. I was going to make a point about them being able to crash Herald in the mid lane and make it a play for the Dragon, but Mimstick's being proactive, took that one away from the from USF, so they're not going to be able to make that play for the next Dragon. So Sam Houston can actually look to make that play themselves, pop that Herald in mid, and then look to take this next Dragon. Yeah,
absolutely. That's a big thing that needs to be understood in organized League of Legends is to
dive in the bot lane. Sorry, dive in the mid lane. There's a fight on multiple fronts. Tanuki gonna have to get away from this one. Chomper's going to stop. Melancholy and Hooks is here to try and stop this one. It's gonna be the Herald summoned in the mid lane, probably by accident in the middle of that fight. Can they get the charge out of it, though? Eye's going to get hit. No, it's just going to time out in the middle of that lane. They're going to be able to knock that one down. Nobody dying just yet across the board. Style looking, trying to get in on Dark Cloud. Is going to get jumped in. It's starting to go down, but managed to get the ulti off in the meantime. Sam Houston now, they're lacking of a lot of ults. They do manage to knock down Cloud at the end, but what's it going to cost them? Sam Houston, they got to find their way out of this one because Style, he's getting run down. He's forced down. Super Mega Death Rocket's going to go wide. Style living just with a sliver of health. No! Hook's going to knock him down, and now it's a teleport to the top lane of this Dragon going the way of USF, as is the team fight.
Yeah, absolutely. So much going on there to unpack. A big advantage going over to USF, and I'm questioning the decision to take that fight. This is going back into my previous point, not understanding that anytime there's a fight happening one place where one team has a numbers advantage, it's likely that the other team has a numbers advantage somewhere else. So SHSU takes the fight mid lane, trades out the flash in mid between Style and Hook Simp to try to get that dive off. But at that point, you've burned multiple flashes and multiple ults to try to kill off Hook Simp. And then you stick around and continue to take the fight as, okay, well.
Oh, the Style just gonna collect that one in the mid lane. I think he was offended that he got eliminated by the Victor, but, well, no, to your point, I think you're absolutely correct. And I think even worse for Sam Houston was it was split calling, right? They invested so much to try and get the Jinx and try and get on the bot lane, but then Hooks manages to buy time. The Chomper's coming down, CCing up Escargot for long enough for that Jinx to get away. And then you're looking at the other side. Yes, Style does manage to get the ulti off. Yes, he does manage to kill one, but then takes so much damage in the process, gets chased down away from his team, and so Sam Houston just not able to get on top of that dragon even after getting that one kill.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing, we were talking in the pre-production meeting about the value of hard engage and peel versus hard engage. Another form of peel, though, versus traditional CC, where you're creating space, is creating time. Actually, we do have a fight here in the mid lane.
Yeah, but speaking of creating space, is Memerstick going to be trying to create some space of his own, but he runs into 3. Yeah, that's USF's going to be collecting that one as another kill going to go down in that bot lane. Again, just not sure of the playmaking here for Sam Houston. It's just so scattered right now.
It looks like, did Style get picked off by a super mega death rocket? Where did
I think he might have. I actually didn't see where he dropped. I just saw it flash across the screen.
Yep, so that he gets picked by a rocket on the back end of that as SHSU bites off more than they can chew in this 2v3. And this is just really, really going in USF's favor. They've got the harder scaling comp. Then their comp is entirely reliant on finding disengages. We have an all-in top lane.
Hook going to land the ultimate on that one. Just going to knock Lucky out. That's about the max that he can do in that one, though, so not actually going to be able to get the kill on iLucky. The other thing I want to highlight, too, is... oh, no, go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, back to my point. There's 2 ways to kind of peel for yourself in League of Legends. And one's a little bit less traditional, and we've seen it rise in priority a lot lately on picks like Jin Zhao, Jarvan as well. And that is to buy time. Buying space is valuable because it allows your carries to reposition, get to where they need to be to deal damage. But when you're in these early mid-game skirmishes where your position on the map matters a lot, things like Lamb's Respite, things like Devour, can buy so much time to allow your team to collapse. And that's twice now that we have seen time being bought in that winning fights for USF.
Speaking of fights, Sam Houston looking like they want to try something on down here in the bot lane. They're bringing 3 over. Memerstick's waiting in the wings right there. But I think what hurts even more for the Sam Houston team right now is the fact that they do have an early game comp that does rely on getting some of these leads and maintaining it, and they just haven't gotten it. It's only just now, 16 minutes into the game, that we're seeing Jace complete that Eclipse. No completed item yet for the Shyvana. Items only just now coming through in mid and bot lane for the ADC there. So Sam Houston, I mean, they've got to find something to try and accelerate this game and start to get some gold lead back and start winning some team fights, because if you're going to continue to secede gold and time over to a team like USF that has this scaling comp, you're going to find yourself without a lot of real estate to work with here very, very soon.
Absolutely, and it's also interesting to me that we see the Blade of the Ruin King rush out of Memerstick. Traditionally on Shyvana, Frostfire would be the rush as her mythic, and especially when you're not ahead, you're not snowballing on the pick. I think that the tankiness that a Frostfire Gauntlet's going to give you would be a lot more valuable. This entire comp from SHSU right now, the only defensive item we've got is a shield bow, right? So they are at severe risk of, even with their early game comp, just getting blown up in a lot of these fights if they aren't successful in getting their pick. And USF's entire comp is built around making sure you are not successfully going to one-shot somebody.
Memerstick's waiting up in this top lane, does have full access to the bar, so might be looking to dive Hooks, but Dark Cloud is here. This would be a risky dive if they wanted to try it. Dark Cloud has access to the ultimate. Is it going to full in? Lucky. Oh, yeah, they caught him. Just not respecting, again, the positioning of the enemy jungler. He's going to drop and be made to pay for it as the Super Mega Death Rocket just flew across his body, insult to injury.
Yeah, absolutely. A beautiful explosive cask too. That ultimate, sneaky, hard to use.
Teleport response really here from Teleport response here from Hooks in the bot lane. Sam Houston wanted to try and start this off. Melancholy getting slowed right now. Frost is going to come out. What else can they get? Nothing. The Ignite is going to tick away, but still, every member of this in this bot lane still relatively healthy. Eskrol, again, just landing the arrows to the back, but ultimately nothing going to come out of that. So teleport ultimately wasted for not a whole lot for Hooks.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where you kind of tilt your head to the side like a curious dog. All the damage for USF was backed. They were in base and off the map. And sure, this Gragas has his Everfrost completed, but I don't foresee him one-shotting a Leona. So an interesting use of the teleport there. I'm not sure what they were trying to gain, unless maybe this dragon priority was the idea.
I don't know if Memer6 wants to try and hop over the wall to steal this. Isn't looking like he's going to, as it's just going to be the time bomb thumb over there. It was traded in the top lane for Sam Houston, so you are getting something across the map. Yes, you are succeeding a second dragon, but it's not drag point, right? You're not into that third dragon territory. You can look to fight for the next one, or if you want to continue to try and just wait and maybe give your Ashe some more time to scale, which honestly isn't that advisable. You could look to give a third drake and just, wait, maybe trade it for a structure, but ultimately I think even losing the structure, losing that is a hold on. Style going to try and go on a Tanuki here. He may be able to get this. Does have actually the ultimate flash out from the USF ADC. Had to do it, or Style would have followed him underneath the turret, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. I do also want to go back and talk about itemization one more time, because I think that Gale Force is a really, really intelligent buy for Tanuki. A lot of the time these days, at every level of play, we see champions, or players rather, that select champions with their summoner spells and their runes, having their win conditions in mind, and then they fail to acknowledge those in their builds. The win condition here for USF being staying alive means that the more traditional Kraken Slayer build is not as favorable as the Gale Force, so I like that decision.
Speaking of staying alive, Style going to have to blow the ulti to stay alive right now, but the rest of the team is here. What can I get? Ultimate to come down from Dark Cloud, and now it's a full 3-on-3. What else can Sam Houston get? Dark Cloud trying to flash out. Unlucky falling on top. No, he's going to drop, though. Tanuki's on a rampage. What else can I get? Memer6 trying to get one. No, Hooks is going to pick that one up, and Style forced to watch that happen. Hooks going to flash the emote. Ruben pops over the wall, and USF, they're going to continue to run this down in the mid lane. That turret has no health, so Style going to be forced to back all the way off.
Yeah, an interesting decision to go for that fight. I don't necessarily hate the concept of the fight for SHSU, but they just don't seem to understand the game state and the fact that they are kind of behind. They need to play more towards the pick potential of their comp. They need to look for people that are caught out and try to land an enchanted crystal arrow or a solar flare rather than taking these 3-on-3 and 4-on-4 skirmishes.
Absolutely. And that brings up an interesting point, too, because it does feel like if they can't find these picks, if they can't find isolated members of this USF squad, it nearly feels like it's impossible for them to get a winning team fight, because as long as these guys are in a death ball, as long as you have your Tomkin standing next to the Jinx, as long as you have Victor and the Kendra providing utility coverage for that carry, it feels so impossible to try and split the members of this USF squad. I mean, you're looking at Memer6 getting in, you're looking at Style getting a pick as he's trying to go in 1v2 here, knocks Tanuki below half, but that's just not enough. That was full combo, and Tanuki just going to walk away.
He bails on the play with the Gnasher's Tooth. I think when you've got the two-man stun there and the Gnasher's Tooth where you're trying to sneak in those extra autos, I think he could have finished that kill off. I'm curious why he decided to back off and save the ult potentially for another fight when you don't know when the next fight's coming with a dragon a pretty good ways away.
When you keep highlighting itemization, I mean, just look at what Tanuki bought. Tanuki knows that the only way that they can lose this fight is if their squishy members of this USF squad do get knocked down. So what's he done? He's bought Bloodthirster. He's saying, okay, even if you do manage to get on top of me, Style, even if you do manage to burst me down, you can't kill me because I do have the shielding and because I have Bloodthirster. So if I get away, I'm just going to heal off the minions, and then if we turn a team fight around on you, I'm going to get resets and I'm going to wipe your entire team.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like the itemization. I think maybe a better defensive option would have been the rapid fire cannon, but I do like the fact that defensive building is in mind. We even have the QSS here out from Dark the Cloud as we just see this fight bot lane.
Style going to be wishing he had a QSS. It's going to be the teleport for the top lane, but it might just be too late. Dark Cloud drops the ultimate. He gets a lot of help, and now iLucky's here. He's going to get one on the board. He said, thanks for the kill. I'll donate my teleport to get that any day, and he's going to get his second kill of the game, but still, Style nearly getting caught out there, though. Had to blow everything just to survive and ultimately waited in the ultimate. Memer6 is going to get caught out there. Still choosing to go on in. No follow-up, though. Ashe Arrow coming across, but no follow-up there. So a bit of a wasted ability there from the Sam Houston ADC.
Yeah. one of those arrows where maybe
Question mark pings. It's question mark pings on the map.
Understand that that's a Tom Kench. He's just gonna ult up that Jinx and tank the arrow himself, or better yet, let the Jinx take it and then ult her out of it and cleanse it for her.
Yeah, that arrow came across the board, and Tom Kench like, hey, cool story, bro. Hey, check this out, Devour, and then saved him. But Hooks may be looking for Devour's own style, and he run this down. He's gonna throw out the extra time bomb, so Hook gonna get himself out of there, but. Yeah, it's one of those plays that you kind of ping across the map and like, well, they've wasted that ability, so we have some time to work with. And to be honest, for Sam Houston, actually lucky that a full team fight wasn't breaking out there, because if you waste that Ash arrow and then the fight happens next to you, it's just a feels bad moment as USF getting ready to start this third dragon, and Sam Houston just not here in time to contest this. They're not set up.
Not contesting Ocean Soul Point on a comp that's going to outscale you is a curious decision. Oh, we're even going to commit a teleport to this, actually.
Oh, this is just insult to injury. There's no fight out of this one. USF have gotten what they wanted. They have made their way out of it. Sam Houston just going to blow the teleport and get absolutely nothing out of it. So, Sam Houston, this is now... you don't want to call a game over, because obviously it's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but they are getting into territory where it's going to be very, very difficult for them to come back in it. You are now conceding essentially Ocean Soul if you do not start winning teamfights, because... this USF squad is exactly where they need to be. They're working on third item on Jinx. They're working to get a second item on the Victor. I mean, they are ahead in just about every way. I mean, they even have QSS on the Kindred, is ultimately going to come down on top of Style. He's going to be forced to get out from this one. And we're just trying to clear underneath the turret. And yeah, Style, this may just be him going down. He does have access to the ultimate. But where are you going to go? Just into the waiting arms of Dark Cloud. And this game is starting to truly feel like it is beginning to be done and dusted, as not even Eskragol is safe. He's going to get flashed on by Hook. Casket just going to come out into another belly pop. Stun on to the... I forgot the name of the ability, but it doesn't matter. Memerstick's trying to get in on the Hooks right now, as it's a reverse. Sam Houston said, how dare you, sir? You don't belong here on that top lane. Hooks trying to see if he can get out of here, trying to see if he can trade on the Eskragol, but no. He's just going to auto him to death, and ultimately it's going to be Memersticks that's going to pick that one out. Oh, man, that... the Everfrost.
Everything.
Oh,
Look,
that's...
Scotty had that in the bag. An unfortunate Everfrost whiff there, though.
That's going to be that moment that they go back and look at when, you know, and obviously they're in no danger of losing this game right now, but in the off chance that maybe they did, they're going to have to go back and look and say, yeah, that's where it all went wrong. I missed that Everfrost. And, I mean, he would have had the kill if he had landed the Everfrost there, just because Memersticks was so far away that he wouldn't have been able to get there in time to stop Reshkagol from dying, but just living for so long in that shield bow, I think, was a massive part of that, and you're actually now seeing the Wit's End come out there for Reshkagol.
Yeah, as the Wit's End as well as the shield bow, this Ashe is going to be hard to kill at the cost of maybe not dealing as much damage as she could, but that's okay. There's plenty of damage here for SHSU, plenty of options. And one thing I wanted to highlight earlier that I'm just now getting back around to, I really, really like the QSS pickup from Dark the Cloud here. Their comp kind of hinges around their ability to play defensively and buy time, which is something I've only said about 30 times in the last 26 minutes. But the QSS being picked up just helps ensure that no matter what, the Lamb's Respite is going to be able to come out.
Absolutely. And the team fight getting started off now. Immediate cleanse there from Tanuki. Great response there to make sure he didn't CC'd up. So that's going to be that ability blown, though. That means the next team fight, that obviously that Channel Cristero, I mean, look at the timing already. It's already coming up there for Reshkagol. It's going to be, 52 seconds on it, so less than a minute really total cooldown. So that will obviously come up a lot faster than that cleanse is going to come out.
Well, and the unfortunate part there is the, stage moment. You've got a Tom Kench with Devour standing next to you. One of the two spells didn't need to be cast, but we did get the Cleanse Devour combo from the USF bot lane. So both of those being on cooldown is really, really good for SHSU.
Yeah. Well, and I think in that situation, it's also a safer than sorry moment, because you don't exactly know where Styles at. You don't exactly know if he's going to be able to jump on the back line. So rather just devour up your ADC and not risk Echo bursting your biggest damage threat right now in the game down instantly than and use that ability rather than have that happen and wish you had used it. So there's going to be the resets coming across the board. So Sam Houston, so Kramer, we're getting into a spot where Sam Houston are getting progressively more and more choked out of this game. We have Dragon in about a minute, 10 seconds. Baron is up and available for this USF squad to play for. And Sam Houston right now don't have a lot of responses to what this UFC squad wants to do. I said UFC
No,
squad,
the-
USF squad.
We were just going to keep going, pretend it didn't happen. But the game state for Sam Houston could be worse. They are down about 1,800 gold, but that gold lead has stayed pretty stagnant for USF, which is to be expected, right? They're playing for their soul. They're playing to scale to get to 3 items. And while we're on the subject of 3 items, one thing I do want to highlight here is the itemization of hooks. It looks to me with that mana crystal coming out as he buys an Oblivion Orb and oh, never
Sells
mind.
it. Sells it
he's going
immediately.
with what I want. Okay, he's going with the Frozen Heart, which is actually massively valuable. If you look at SHSU squad, hold on, we might have
Team fight. Oh my word! Style just deletes Cloud right where he stands. Hook may have teleported to his death though, because Sam Houston, they want to fight right now. They sense that this game is going down. Style gonna ulti back over the wall. Oh, but Sam Houston, they're out of engage, and now they have to find their way out because they're in a choke point. Super Mega Death Rocket comes across. Escrigo's going to be the first Sam Houston to drop, and now they're completely on the run. Lucky surely going to fall next. Sam Houston, can they save anybody out of this? Style going to get exhausted up, just trying to survive. He's going to get tongue lashed and bashed straight into the ground. Style's going to get one, but it's not enough. It's a team fight win for USF, and they're not done. Melancholy just trying to live, just trying to get away, but his poor Leona has nowhere to run except the death chamber. Hook's going to follow him under the turret. He's not going to let that go. One more laser seals the deal, and it's going to be Drag Soul and a team fight going the way of USF.
Wow, and the ace as well. It's just an overextension from SHSU. You've got your man. You blew up the Kindred. He didn't even get a chance to cast Lamb's Respite because he died instantly. So you've delayed the soul. But SHSU just chooses to fight into this choke point against a team that's got infinite AoE to throw at you.
Well,
everything in Victor's kit, everything Jinx has, the Abyssal Voyages from Tom Kench, the CC from Gragas. You fight them in this tight point, that's what's gonna happen to you. They should have just taken their pick and walked.
And that is honestly why I think at that point they had engaged so far that maybe they couldn't actually get their way out, because yes, they did delete Dark Clown, but how concerning is that for Sam Houston when they actually get that successful pick onto one of the longevity picks that this USF squad has in terms of using the Kindred ulti to buy time? They delete her, get her off the face of the planet, make sure that she's not actually going to affect this team fight, but then the Jinx stays on the back line for so long, just dealing so much damage, isn't touched the majority of that team fight, and they turn it around because Sam Houston found themselves in this choke point in against a Jinx and a Victor where they have nowhere to go.
Jinx was never even threatened. She didn't have to cast Cleanse. The Devour never had to come out. But that's the thing, is SHSU didn't have to follow that close into the choke point. They picked off Dark Cloud around the bottom side blast cone. That's just a fight that you've won. You stay in the river, you have control. They have to come into you, into an open area where you can fight on even footing with a numbers advantage, you know, if they want to contest that soul. And instead, SHSU just decided to walk into a box.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to feel for Sam Houston there as they did get that pick, and that was the jungler down. So essentially, you know, short of messing up that smite, that is basically just a free dragon. You buy yourself a little bit of life and you delay this USF squad from getting Drag Soul, but just staying there too long, though, cost them that team fight. And now we're starting to see the effects of that too, is again, they're just trying to push across the map wherever they can. Style trying to all in on Hook here. Maybe force the ball the ultimate as Dark Cloud is here now. Style gonna get slowed. Ultimate still ticking in there. Is gonna be ulting back over the wall, and now he's just gonna get run down. Now he has nowhere to go. He's gonna get slowed up by Hook. And Dark Cloud should be able to chase. This time I'm going to come down, but it's going to be the cast for the win. T1 going to collect on that one. And now this might be Baron going over as the strongest member of Sam Houston might be down. No action to that Echo means this is just a team fight for USF. They could just shove this. Lucky's going to go down as well. Ruben going to steal it there, and this is Baron for USF.
Very edge of the Abyssal Voyage connecting there on Lucky as Style is just trying to style too hard. I see what he's going for. He's got the right idea yet again, but just overstays ever so slightly after taking these trades. Holds the ult just a little too long when he could have created space, and he's gonna get punished for it. And this Baron going over means this is now a 6,000 gold lead, 6,500, not even mentioning the gold efficiency of the Ocean Soul. This is just dominance from USF at this point. They
have the Drag Soul, they have the Baron, they have all the tools that they need to start sieging in on this base for Sam Houston. This gold lead's about to explode as we're going to see the resets come through and then a push as the last remaining turrets on this outside of the base going to fall. And so Sam Houston, this is now likely the point of no return, because the gold lead that USF has right now, 8,000 gold, is honestly really, really difficult to surmount when they are playing so carefully. Now notice USF not cracking the base yet until they can group as 5, not allowing super minions to come in and give free gold over to the Sam Houston squad. They're going to wait, make sure that they have all 5 members, and then start to siege in, as they're going to have Baron for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. USF just needs to play this slowly, because even with their gold lead and the advantages they have, they still do. You've always got a lose condition in League of Legends, and theirs is definitely letting Style just one-shot somebody. Ocean Soul's great in extended fights, but it's not going to stop your Kindred from dying in 2 spells to this Echo if he just QEs her. So you definitely need to make sure you're still playing respectfully on the side of USF. One thing I wanted to hit on earlier before the game went insane again is the value of this Frozen Heart from hooks. I think that this item, it's been coming up in priority a little bit. Did we just steal Raptors with a Super Mega Death Rocket?
Yes, we stole Raptors with a Super Mega Death Rocket. Jinx just owns everything on the map, so we're just gonna assume that everything that touches the green rift belongs to Jinx. It is all her territory. Yes. As far as the sun touches the horizon, it belongs to Tanuki. So if you've got a blue buff, just assume Tanuki's gonna steal that too, as you were saying about the relative state of this game.
Yes. Back to this Frozen Heart buy. You've got now, this is a point I should have gotten to 10 minutes ago, or let go of probably by now, but I love talking about itemization.
Oh, Melancholy, though. We may not even get a chance to talk. Style may have found the one he needs. He deletes Dark Cloud over. This is exactly what we talked about, and now Ruben has to find his way out of there. It's most importantly, though, not the Jinx. USF have shown that they can win fights without access to the Kindred ultimate. But that is a massive pickup there for Sam Houston. Put some respect on Style's name. Indeed, Style all over Dark Cloud, popping over the wall there.
Absolutely. That is all 3 of Dark Cloud's last 3 deaths have been Style just finding him in places he shouldn't be and sending him home.
Yep, and that's... Go ahead.
Sorry, I got to get this point out. So, the Shyvana of Memer Sticks, Styles Echo, and Ereshkigal, all 3 second item rushed and attack speed item. Well, actually, for Memer Sticks, it was the first item, the Bork, right?
Yes.
Frozen Heart gets immense gold value into that. Frozen Heart's passive is unique in that it is one of few items where the itemization of the enemy team can increase its gold efficiency. So the passive of the attack speed slow aura really going to be doing work and making things a little bit harder for this Ashe, this Shyvana, and this Echo, who have all opted into more skirmishy attack speed based builds.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, if you're looking at it as a situation where Style's not able to delete somebody and you get a longer team fight, that Frozen Heart is going to be so pivotal for them to navigate these later game team fights and start to pick up some Style. Can he do it again? He's not going to find... Trying to jump in. Is he going to delete him again? Style. They have to start this team fight off now, though. Is it going to be immediate cleanse for Tanuki? Can he survive? Can he get away? He's going to drop Sam Houston. They may have found a fight as it's 2 members dead for USF. Sam Houston, what else can they get? Multiple stopwatches. Ruben not able to get the Devourer. Hook's going to drop. And Sam Houston, they're going to get the Elder off this. They get the full team fight. And Sam Houston, they're not done. They fight back. Style, put some respect on his name. He gets back in. The Elder Drake's going to go their way. Baron spawning in a minute 52nd. They're going to push and get towers with this. Sam Houston, they found their way back into this game.
Never say never, Horizon, as we see Style continue to find picks onto Dark the Cloud, who has simply not learned his lesson. The vision setup is just not there to walk up to that Elder Dragon. They need to be grouped as 5, playing slower, moving towards that objective. Instead, they're split off. You've got Jinx getting caught out by herself. You got Kindred getting caught out by herself, and just no way you can win fights that way against this skirmishy comp that SHSU has drafted.
And exactly what we said Style needed to do, he did. He got onto that backline, didn't just get one, got multiple members, split Tanuki away from that Tom Kitch, made it to where they couldn't get the Devourer. The cleanse came out immediately as soon as that Enchanted Crystal Arrow came out. And exactly what Sam Houston needed to do, they did. They ran down the Jinx, prevented her from getting in the fight. And now this Baron fight is honestly super perilous for USF because of the Elder that Sam Houston has. Yes, it's not the maximum empowered Elder, right? Because you don't have 4 Drakes behind it. But with the damage, with the burst that Sam Houston has, that means that if you drop instantly below half health, you were at risk at getting deleted instantly. They don't even need the rest of the follow-up damage because of the capability of that Elder Dragon. So now Sam Houston, they are firmly back in this game. They have given themselves a life here. And man, just as we were lamenting in the production meeting, having the ability to have access to the replay, that I would like to instant replay.
Yeah, no, this is getting really, really dangerous for USF. Their comms still is the better scaling comp, right? They still have a clear win condition. It's very telegraphed and easy for them to execute fights, but you have to be respectful about how you're choosing to take them as we see a fight break out in the mid lane.
Oh, Sam Houston style. He may have found hooks on the side. He only needs a little bit more damage. One more jump in might do it. Trying to get on top of Tanuki, who nearly drops below half. That Elder Dragon, that threat of getting lasered by the passive dragon constantly there, and the base has been cracked for USF. Sam Houston have officially turned it around. They're going to make their way towards the Baron. This should just go comparatively, relatively speaking, uncontested.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, I am begging you, Dark Cloud, please build a Hex Drinker. Stop getting one shot by Style when your ultimate is what your team comp hinges upon. This item's recently buffed. You can stop Style from sending you to the Shadow Realm on cooldown. Please find a way to stay alive, because this game is still so very winnable for USF if they can outlast these temporary buffs of SHSU. But I don't know if they can, as the gold lead's now swung against them.
Now, most importantly, though, we did talk about Sam Houston getting themselves back in this game. Now that we have a minute to breathe, now that Elder's probably going to be timing out here very soon, as Escargot throwing out a Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That's going to land on top of him. They're not even going to give me a minute to talk. Immediate stasis from number one. Meanwhile, Escargot still trying to get his Solar Flare going to go wide. And meanwhile, on the top lane, though, non-stop ashing hooks. Can he trade on top of Style? Style getting the damage down. Back to full health immediately. Going to make his way towards this mid lane. Is met by Crowd, who deletes him in return. He returns the favor. Sam Houston, they're going to have to find their way out of this one. When I was trying to...
me to return the favor.
And what I was going to say before Sam Houston tried to take that team fight was Tanuki. Most importantly, I see that stomp on inventory, so they are recognizing that the only way for them to lose this game now is for Style to keep deleting those pivotal members of this squad. And so that is going to be the Zonius coming surely. So for him, hopefully not going to have to burn the stopwatch too soon. Another Dragon coming up in a minute, 20 seconds. Baron not for another 4, so Sam Houston still in this game, but I got to find a way to end it soon, because this squad is still scaling for the side of USF.
Yeah, absolutely. And USF, we talked earlier about being able to buy time with their team compositions and their builds. Guardian Angel is just another way to buy time. So those 2 GAs coming through should be huge. Another Enchanted Crystal Arrow here.
That cooldown.
Toad? No.
That cooldown is so short. As Neighbor6 going unstoppable, but where is the follow-up for Sam Houston? Just using ultimate for, relatively speaking, nothing there. There's no follow-up from behind, no Melancholy to help, no Ereshkigal to help, no iLucky to help. So, again, I'm just trying to find ways to fight this right now, but just not picking their moments very wisely.
And that's 3 somewhat questionable ult casts from SHSU. Fortunately for them, though, this late in the game, a lot of those ults are going to be back up. It's not like they cast them to try to create a pick ahead of an objective. So by the time there's something worth fighting for on the map again, those should be back up.
Absolutely. And Sam Houston still looking to try and find ways to close this out. Still staying scrappy, still finding ways to get in on these team fights. And, you know, the other thing I think we haven't talked about, too, is as behind as Sam Houston might be right now, of course, not in terms of gold, it's dead even. Like, it is literally dead even across the teams. But itemization-wise, it does feel like Sam Houston have gotten the respect of this USF squad and have forced them to start building more defensively just to survive the burst damage that they're throwing out.
Yeah, so if you remember in the draft conversation, I talked about Renata specifically as a champion who I want to see people start building towards her win condition more often. That's something that it took USF a little bit too long to get into, is building towards their comp's win condition, as we do see them set up around this Elder.
This Elder Dragon, this is going to be the deciding fight of this game. This is going to be what it takes for either of these teams to close it out, as we're starting to see positioning here. And either of these teams, can they get in on it? It's going to be the ulti on the 3, though, full against for Sam Houston. It's going to be the ultimate coming out from Dark Cloud. What else can Sam Houston get? Multiple members knocked out. Rabel dropping all across Sam Houston, though. They're getting it. Escargot on the back line. Double kill for Memersticks. That's going to be the other Dragon, and that has to be the game. The respawn timer is going to be so long. They're going to take this and run towards that mid lane inhibitor. This may be what Sam Houston needs to close out this game. The Super Mega Death Rocket going to be blocked right there. It's not going to steal away the objective. Yes, they lost Memersticks in the end, but it is just going to be the teleport out from iLucky. He's going to run towards the mid lane. Is going to be the teleport from Style. And Sam Houston, it may have been enough to close out this game. Can they get the last of these inhibitors? 25 seconds on the majority of these members. They may have done it. Another health bars. Can Tanuki buy time on this Jinx?
Should be able to one-shot this wave, but I don't think it's going to happen before these objectives go down.
Oh, and Sam Houston, they're just going to go ahead and clear out the remaining minions here. Tanuki, hold on, has the access to the rocket, but no, it's not going to be enough. Sam Houston, they're going to close out game 1 against USF.